Trump has been convinced by the FBI and Israeli intelligence that Iran was seeking to assassinate him while he was a candidate.
I don't believe that.
And he clearly believes it. And I can demonstrate that he believed it. And even more cynically, Benjamin Netanyahu publicly claimed that the Butler PA assassination attempt and the attempt 1 month later by Ryan Roth, this drifter who was recruiting, American troops in Ukraine and seemed to be mentally disturbed, that both of those attempts were actually Iranian intelligence operations, IRGC operations against Trump. He said that on Fox News in an interview with Bret Baier about 1 week before Trump authorized Operation Midnight Hammer. Donald Trump, when he was a candidate, justifiably was afraid for his life. A bullet missed his ear by a few millimeters, missed his head by a few millimeters in Butler, PA. And that was a very weird incident, because we were just told that this politically unaffiliated, unknown 20-year-old engineering student, Thomas Crooks, with no social media history, just climbed on a rooftop after flying a drone for 15 minutes on this fairground. On the same day, the Secret Service's anti-drone, drone monitoring systems happened to be down, and then was able to peel off 8 rounds from 130 yards away. And, it turned out there was a lot of obstruction around the investigation. The FBI lied. He did have an extensive social media history. He had a clear objective to kill political leadership in the United States. And he may have been known to the FBI. There are questions about that. But the day before Butler was July 13th. July 12th, a Pakistani man named Asif Merchant was arrested in Houston. And this figure was being led around by an FBI confidential human informant who was trying to get him to enact various operations to supposedly assassinate Trump. And the operations included like a large protest or demonstration as a distraction, a sniper, all kinds of things that kind of mirrored what was taking place in Butler. It was all being controlled by the FBI. And then they came in and arrested him. Asif Merchant, I think 4 days ago, was just convicted in Brooklyn of attempting to assassinate Trump on behalf of the IRGC. And this convinced Trump, when Trump found out this guy was arrested and everything, Trump actually flew on decoy flights when he was a candidate, where the rest of his campaign staff would fly on Trump Force One, and Donald Trump would fly on a decoy flight, which was Steve Witkoff's private jet. And Trump actually was told by the FBI that there were IRGC assets in the United States who had man pads and were going to take down his flight. He really, really believed this. But all of these warnings and plots were completely controlled by the FBI. And then following Butler, just hours after Thomas Crooks was shot and Butler was wrapped up, literally hours after, the FBI sends a team to the jail cell of Asif Merchant, who's said to be acting on behalf of Iran, to interrogate him without a lawyer in violation of his rights to determine if Iran was responsible. And an FBI official later told the Washington Post, if we could have concluded that Iran was responsible, it would mean war. So there are a lot of questions that I have about...
What did they conclude?
They concluded he had nothing to do with Butler. But there are questions to raise. What if he did have something to do with Butler and we're just not being told the truth? What if Butler itself was the result of a failed, controlled FBI operation, and that the FBI was also watching Thomas Crooks, and this went beyond the FBI in order to implicate Iran in attempting to assassinate Donald Trump? And then there's another scenario we can consider there. What if Thomas Crooks had actually succeeded in taking out Donald Trump? Who would the candidate have been? It would have been Nikki Haley, with Asif Merchant being interrogated about Iran. She would have blamed Iran. Her whole campaign was funded by the Iran hawks, and she would have led the charge to attack Iran as revenge for killing Trump in order to capture the Trump coalition and the Adelsons. But what they wound up getting, these Israel First forces who saw at war with Iran was a president with a cult following, unlike Nikki Haley, who was beloved by MAGA and the heartland American base that felt betrayed, that would follow Trump anywhere, and turned him into a vehicle for influence anyway, believing that Iran had sought to kill him and that he had to get revenge by killing the Ayatollah.
Max, I really hope you're not right about any of this. I
laid it all out using public sources at the Gray Zone, and anyone can fact check me. The questions I raise about Merchant somehow being connected,
Asif Merchant, the guy that was arrested, Asif Merchant, the guy that was arrested at Pakistani national with alleged ties to the IRGC, trying to hire hitmen to kill Trump. Like, it makes zero sense for me that Iran wants to kill Trump. Like, this is a death sentence for Iran. Like, it makes zero sense. Like, these are, as much as you hate them, I know they're very, ideological, etc. And no, I hate the regime. I was very critical of it in January. They're also not stupid, dumb people that just want to get killed and get their country destroyed. Killing Trump would lead to exactly that. So for me, that makes zero sense. But then I look at, first I listen to you and how much you know, and then I start, checking things. I'm like, all right, cool. You say all the donors are pro-Israeli donors. I'll check what are the top donors of Trump. Elon's number one, so he doesn't count in this. Timothy Mellon, number two.
No, he counts, but